In part 7 of chapter 2, we are looking at more slope and writing equations of the lines. Just to go over number 70, so we have 70a, we are given a graph, and it looks something like this. We know our x is time in minutes, and our y value is the height of a candle, and that is in centimeters. And we have some point above 20, and it makes a horizontal line. And the question was, explain what the slope represents, find it, and give its units. So in this example, this is a horizontal line. And in class, we had said that a horizontal line has a slope of 0. Because what happens is, we have all these points on this horizontal line here, and you are not going up any. So you're not going up or down, but you're going to go over 1 each time. So the change in y is 0, but your change in x is going to be 1, which gives you a slope of 0. So our slope is 0, and our units, because we're doing the change in y over change in x, is going to be 0 centimeters per 1 minute. So no matter how many minutes go by, we are not decreasing or increasing. So maybe this candle isn't, being lit. Maybe it's one of those flameless candles, but it's not, the height of the candle is not changing in that time. In problem 71, we want to find the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to label my x's and my y's before I calculate anything. And if you remember what we talked in class, is we said change in y over change in x. So if I look at my y's, I'm going to take 70 and minus 10 from that. We're finding the difference, which gives me 60. My x's, so I'm going to take negative 15, so I have to start with the same ordered pair. I'm going to do negative 15 minus 5, which gives me negative 20. And then these can be reduced to get negative 3. So our slope is going to be negative 3. We're going to go down 3 over 1. So we have some more work to do. We do need to find out what is the equation. So I'm going to use my slope, and I'm going to use one of my points. I'm going to select my point 5, 10, because those numbers are a little smaller, and they're also both positive. But you could pick the other point if you wanted to. So we talked about y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and our b is our y-intercept, that starting value. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our y, which is 10, and we're going to plug it in for the y in our equation. So we have 10 equals. Now we're going to take our m, which is negative 3, our slope, and we're going to plug that in for that spot. Now we're going to take the x, which is 5, and we're going to plug that in there, so 5 times negative 3, and then we're going to bring down the plus b. So we'll take negative 3 times 5 to get negative 15 plus b, and then we'll add 15 to both sides. So b is equal to 25. Once we know the b, once we know the slope, we have everything we need to plug it back into the y equals mx plus b equation. So our equation will be y equals negative 3x plus 25. The final problem we're looking at is going to be 74, and we have a table of water that's evaporating in a bucket during the summertime, and it's measured in centimeters, and we're counting off by the days. So the first thing we want to do is complete the table. So we want to see how are we increasing, decreasing as we go along this table. So as I look at my y values from 30 to 27, I can see I'm decreasing by 3. 27 to 24, decreasing by 3. So we're going to subtract 3 from 24 to get 21, and then subtract 3 from 21 to get 18. So we are decreasing each time by 3 centimeters. So the next part is to find the rate of change. So we want to find the slope. So I'm going to go back up to the table, and I know my y's are decreasing by 3. So the change in y is negative 3. Now I'm going to look at my x's. So from each x, I'm going to be adding 2. Not adding 1, but adding 2. So my change in x is going to be 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 2. I'll identify that as m. Okay, so I didn't want to circle that or underline that. Okay, now I'm stuck. All right, we want to include the units. So we want to make sure we take a look at the centimeters and our days. So for every 3 centimeters is going to happen over 2 days. So we're going to lose 3 centimeters of water for every 2 days. So that's the slope with the units included. The second part of that problem, or excuse me, the third part is to write an equation. So we know the slope is negative 3 over 2. If we go back to the problem, we can find the starting value. Remember, that's when x is 0. And we can put it together into the y equals mx plus b equation. So y is going to be equal to negative 3 over 2x plus 30.